Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be doing a review for Longlegs today. Now it's going to be no spoilers in the first half of this review. There will be spoilers later on, so if you don't want to know anything about the film, I will let you know well in advance before I start talking about spoilers. But I'll tell you what it's about, I'll tell you my thoughts, and then I'll get into the spoilers. So I'll let you know well in advance, guys. FBI agent Lee Harker, along with Agent Carter, are on the hunt for a serial killer, self-titled Longlegs. As they get deeper into the investigation, they uncover some occult clues, as well as trying to figure out why Longlegs never seems to be at the scene of the crimes. Does he have an accomplice, or is there something supernatural going on? Lee has a distant relationship with her mother, and she doesn't really divulge anything that she does in her job. Because of the nature of her job, she's got that distance between herself and her mother, and she only really has that distant relationship when she's talking to her on the phone, and you can tell that they don't really talk much. This really hit home for me because this is exactly my line of work that I do in real life. So when she's talking to her mum, she can't really tell her anything, so she feels like she's all alone. That's sometimes how I feel in my job, so I can get where she's coming from. Maika Monroe plays the quiet, introverted agent with a hint of psychic ability in her. She's very awkward, but she's appealing as well, and she's absolutely the standout in this movie. Nicolas Cage does a really good job as Longlegs, but he also is the classic Nicolas Cage in this. But not only is the classic Nicolas Cage, he's also got that hint of psychotic serial killer in him. I also love that we don't see his full face until near the end of the movie, so his face is kind of held as one of the mysteries within this film. Without giving anything of the story away, it sort of plays out like films like Silence of the Lambs and Zodiac from 2007. The cinematography was masterfully crafted, as well as the sound design. There's some scenes where it just looks like a beautiful art painting, and when you see things move, you don't expect it because it just looks like this beautiful painting. But then when you mix that in with the sound design that they used in it, it was absolutely beautiful. Some of the camera angles were set intentionally to make the audience feel nervous and uneasy. There were some scenes where Lee has her back to a really big open space, and in that distance, we as the audience think there's something there, even though there's not. And that's a bit of camera trickery as well, because sometimes there is something there. Sometimes we see something kind of disappearing in the background, and because we see that throughout the movie, we expect something to happen. So that's what makes us kind of feel nervous and uneasy. The reveal at the end felt a little obvious to me, because at the beginning there were some things that were happening. I was thinking, that means that, and that means that. And then that turned out to be the case. And even though I knew what was going to happen, and it did, I still liked it because of the way it was shot and the way it was revealed. Osgood Perkins really has delivered one of the best psychological horror films that I've seen in quite some time. But I do know, just by watching this film, I do know that it's going to be a divisive movie. I had people sitting in front of me that were quite young, and they were talking throughout the film. That was really annoying. And I just say to myself, they're not going to like this movie. And about 35, 40 minutes into the film, they walked up and left, and I just knew it. So there are going to be people out there who just, not that they don't get it, it's just not a movie for them. Okay guys, we've came to the spoiler part of this review. So if you don't want to know anything, then turn off now. But if you don't mind spoilers, or if you have seen the movie, then continue watching. We find out early on that there's a pattern in the way that these families are killed. In the family, one of the family members, the children, were born on the 14th of any given month. It doesn't matter what month they were born. As long as they're born on the 14th of any month, then they were targeted to be one of the families that were killed. Lee's mother alluded to Lee having a birthday coming up, and I just knew straight away that when she said that, Lee was born on the 14th of possibly January, when the movie was set. And because of that, we go back to the beginning of the film that was set in the mid-70s, 1974, when there was this little 9-year-old girl. And as soon as her mother said her birthday's coming up, I just knew that the girl at the beginning who had the altercation with Longlegs was actually going to be Lee. As we know though, the families that come in contact with Longlegs all die. So how did Lee survive? Well, her mother, a recluse since the incident, is involved. As the crime scenes mentioned, Longlegs was never there when the murders happened. So Longlegs didn't actually commit any of the crimes. He got someone else to do it for him. Lee was also never psychic. They alluded to her being psychic throughout this film, but she never was. She was actually connected to the case because she was originally part of the case, but I'll explain more about that in a minute. After capturing Longlegs, he explains that it's all part of the occult, some sort of satanic ritual, and the occult that's making all this thing happen. And after he explains that to Lee, he takes his own life. The big twist happens when Lee goes back to her mum's house to find out what on earth is happening, because she's obviously involved somehow. But as she's doing that, Lee's mother, Ruth, kills Agent Browning. Ruth then explains that Longlegs, a doll maker, came to them in 1974 to offer them a gift. A gift of the doll, and inside the doll was this little metal ball that acts as the brain, and that brain has got some sort of satanic, occult, supernatural power to it that kind of controls the family. So when you take the doll to a family's house as a gift, then the father of that house will go around and kill everyone in the family, and after he's done that, he will kill himself. So that's part of this satanic ritual, this cult. But Longlegs himself doesn't actually commit the crimes. He gives the dolls to Ruth, and Ruth takes them to the house, and she has to sit there and witness that. Why does she have to do that? Well, she and Longlegs made an agreement. Longlegs said that he wouldn't kill their family and he wouldn't kill Lee as long as Ruth done his work for him. Unfortunately for Agent Carter, it's also his daughter's 9th birthday. Lee finds out straight away, so she goes to Carter's house to stop them. Unfortunately, it's too late. Ruth is already there with the doll, and the family have already been taken over by this satanic ritual. So Carter naturally tries to kill his daughter. He already succeeded in killing his wife, but Lee has to make a decision. Is she going to stop them from doing it or let it happen? She doesn't let them do it, so she has to kill her own mother as well as killing Agent Carter. Earlier on in the film, Ruth shot the ball that was inside the doll that was gifted to Lee as a child in 1974. By doing that, she lost her connection to the doll, therefore possibly losing that psychic connection as well. There's no explanation as to why Ruth done that for her, because it kind of relieved Lee of everything that was happening. It's possible that she'd done it so that her daughter could be finally freed from what we would consider a curse, but there's no full explanation for that. But because she'd done that, Lee thought about that, so she tries to shoot the doll that was connected to Agent Carter's daughter, but she had no bullets left, so she wasn't able to do that. And after that, the movie just ended. Like I said though, this is going to be a divisive movie, mainly due to the slow burn nature of the film, and also it doesn't spoon feed you everything, because there are some supernatural elements to the film. There's some satanic cult elements to the movie that maybe some people won't like. I enjoyed it because it doesn't tell you everything. It leaves some of it to your imagination. I know some people would call that a cop-out, but to me it's not, especially if they tell it well and leave enough room or enough wiggle room for you to decide yourself, oh, that could be about that and that could be about that. For all we know, there's nothing supernatural about it. It's just all in our minds. For all we know, it is supernatural. It has got something to do with the devil, 666, the occult, all of those things put together. It could, but it doesn't specifically pinpoint that it is or it isn't. So I think that's really smart writing by Osgood Perkins. I thought it was fantastic though, guys. Very well acted, visually stunning as well. And I think I do need to see it a couple more times to really get myself into the mindset of this. It does deal with some serious topics as well, so it won't be for everyone, I know that for definite, but it was definitely for me. So if you've made it to the end of this video, guys, it means that you have seen the movie or you don't mind spoilers. But what do you think of the film? Do you think it was divisive? Do you think it explains a little bit more than what I'm explaining? Leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Because you are the dark. To get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!